Captain Jake Morrison sat in his command chair watching the stars drift past the main screen of the New Horizon. The ship had been traveling through empty space for 3 weeks now, searching for new worlds that humans could use for colonies. It was boring work, but someone had to do it. Jake was a tall man, with brown hair and tired eyes. He had been commanding exploration ships for 15 years, and he knew that most missions ended with nothing interesting to report. Today felt like it would be another one of those days. Lieutenant Commander Lisa Barnes looked up from her science station. She was a smart woman with red hair, who had studied alien life forms for most of her adult life. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," she said. Jake turned to look at her. "What kind of strange?" "It's a signal, sir. It's very weak, but it's definitely artificial. Someone is trying to send a message." Chief Communications Officer Sam Cooper, a young man with black hair and quick fingers, started working at his controls. "I've got it too, Captain. The signal is coming from the Kepler 7 sector. That's about 2 days away at maximum speed." Jake thought about this. The Kepler 7 sector was supposed to be empty. No human ships were supposed to be there, and the Galactic Federation had never reported any civilizations in that area. "Can you tell what the message says?" Jake asked. Sam shook his head. "Not yet, sir. It's in a language I've never heard before. But Lisa is right about one thing. This signal is definitely coming from someone intelligent." Dr. Alex Turner, the ship's doctor, walked onto the bridge. He was an older man with gray hair and kind eyes who had joined the crew because he wanted to help people, even people from other worlds. "Did someone say we found aliens?" he asked. "Maybe," Jake said. "Lisa, how long would it take to decode the message?" "Give me a few hours, Captain. The computer can analyze the patterns and try to figure out what they're trying to say." Made his decision, Sam changed course for the Kepler 7 sector. "Maximum speed?" "Yes, sir." As the New Horizon turned toward the mysterious signal, Jake felt something he hadn't felt in years. This might actually be interesting. 6 hours later, Lisa called Jake back to the bridge. Her face was serious, and she looked worried about something. "Captain, I've decoded part of the message. You need to hear this." The bridge became quiet as Lisa played the translated message through the ship's speakers. The voice was strange, like someone talking underwater, but the words were clear enough. "This is Scifi of the Kari people. Our world is dying. We have sent this message to anyone who might listen. The Dractor Empire has surrounded our planet. They say we have 3 days to surrender, or they will kill everyone. We have asked our friends for help, but they have all turned away. We do not have weapons to fight. We do not know war. Please, if someone hears this, remember that we tried to live in peace." The message ended, and the bridge stayed quiet for a long moment. "How old is this message?" Jake asked. "About 18 hours, sir," Sam replied. Dr. Turner stepped forward. "Captain, if this is real, these people need help." Commander Ryan Clark, the ship's tactical officer, was a serious man who always thought about military matters. "Sir, we don't know anything about this Dractor Empire. It could be dangerous, more dangerous than letting innocent people die." Dr. Turner asked. Jake held up his hand to stop the argument before it started. "Lisa, what else can you tell me about these Kari?" Lisa looked at her notes. "Not much yet, sir. From the way they talk, they seem to be peaceful. The name suggests they might be aquatic, living in water. I need more information to be sure. In the Dractor Empire. I've never heard of them." "Captain, they're not in any of our databases." Jake thought about the situation. Earth had rules about getting involved in alien conflicts. The government preferred that exploration ships stay neutral and avoid making enemies. But Jake had joined the space service to help people, not to stand by and watch them die. "Sam, can you send a message back to them?" "I think so, sir." "The signal is weak, but I can try. Send this message. We are humans from the ship New Horizon. We received your call for help. We're coming to your location. Hold on." Sam's fingers moved quickly over his controls. "Message sent, Captain." 2 days later, the New Horizon dropped out of hyperspace near a blue and green planet that was covered mostly with oceans. It was beautiful, like Earth, but with more water and fewer continents. But the beauty was ruined by the three huge warships that hung in space around the planet like dark clouds. Each ship was twice the size of the New Horizon and covered with weapons. "Those must be the Dractor ships, Ryan," said their big captain. "Any sign that they've noticed us?" Jake asked. "Not yet, sir. We're pretty small compared to them." Before Jake could decide what to do next, Sam looked up from his station with excitement. "Captain, I'm getting a response to our message. It's from the planet. Put it through." This time the voice was clearer. The speaker sounded young and frightened, but also hopeful. "Human ship, this is Sci-fi. You came. I did not think anyone would come. My people are hiding in the deep cities under our oceans, but the Dractor say their weapons can boil our seas. We have less than 1 day left." Jake felt anger rise in his chest. The idea of boiling entire oceans, killing billions of innocent beings, made him sick. "Sci-fi, this is Captain Jake Morrison. Can you tell me why the Dractor want to destroy your people? We refuse to give them our water purification technology, Captain Morrison. For thousands of years, we have helped other species clean their worlds and make them livable. We thought this gift would make us friends with everyone. But the Dractor do not want to trade. They want to take. When we said no, they decided to make an example of us." Dr. Turner looked shocked. "They're committing genocide over technology." Lisa was studying her sensors. "Captain, I'm reading massive population centers under the ocean. There must be billions of people down there." "Any defense systems?" Ryan asked. "None that I can detect. These people really don't have any military technology." Jake stared at the Dractor ships on the screen. 3 ships against 1. Thousands of weapons against their few. It should have been an easy decision to retreat and report back to Earth Command, but Jake kept thinking about Sci-fi's voice, their fear, the hope that someone, anyone, might care enough to help. "Capt," Sam said. "Quietly, I'm receiving another transmission. This one is from the Galactic Federation." Jake nodded. "Let's hear it." A cold official voice filled the bridge. "Attention, human vessel. You are ordered to leave this system immediately. The Galactic Federation has declared the Kari situation. In internal matter? Do not interfere? Internal matter?" Dr. Turner said angrily. "They're talking about mass murder." Jake looked around at his crew, saw the same anger in their faces that he felt in his heart. These were good people who had joined the space service to explore and help, not to turn their backs on those in need. Captain Ryan said carefully, "Earth's command will not be happy if we get involved." "No, they won't," Jake agreed. "But I didn't join the space service to watch innocent people die while I do nothing." He turned to face his crew. "I'm going to help the Kari. Anyone who wants to transfer to another ship when we get back to Earth can do so. No questions asked. But right now I need to know who's with me." One by one, every person on the bridge nodded. "Good," Jake said. "Sam, send a message to Sci-fi. Tell him we're not leaving." The New Horizon moved slowly through space toward the planet Aquanis Prime. Jake Morrison stood on the bridge, watching the 3 massive Dractor warships that surrounded the blue world. Each enemy ship was dark gray with red markings, and their hulls bristled with more weapons than Jake had ever seen on a single vessel. Captain Ryan Clark said from his tactical station, "I finished analyzing the Dractor ships. The news isn't good." Jake turned to face his tactical officer. "Tell me. Each of those ships carries enough firepower to destroy a moon. They have plasma cannons that can heat water to boil in seconds. If they fire on the ocean cities, the Kari won't have anywhere to hide." Lisa Barnes looked up from her science station. "I've been studying the planet's surface, Captain. The Kari have built their entire civilization underwater. They have beautiful cities in the deep trenches, connected by tunnels that run for thousands of miles. But if the Dractor heat the oceans, ... she didn't need to finish." Bridge understood what would happen. Dr. Alex Turner shook his head sadly. It would be like cooking them alive in their own homes. Sam Cooper received another message from the planet. "Captain Sci-fi is asking if we can help evacuate their people. He says they have transport ships, but the Dractor won't let anything leave the atmosphere." Jake walked to the main screen and stared at the enemy ships. The New Horizon was Fast and well-built, but it was still just one ship against 3. In a straight fight, they would lose badly. Ryan, do we have any advantages at all? Ryan thought for a moment. Well, sir, the Dractor ships are big and powerful, but they're also slow. Our ship is smaller and can move faster. Also, their weapons are designed for destroying large targets, not for fighting smaller, quicker enemies. What about our weapons? We have enough firepower to damage one of their ships, maybe even disable it, but not all 3. Jake nodded. It wasn't much, but it was something. Chief Engineer Maya Rodriguez came onto the bridge. She was a small woman with dark hair who could fix anything mechanical. She had been working in the engine room since they arrived in the system. Captain, I've been thinking about our situation, Maya said. I know we're outgunned, but we might have options they don't expect. What do you mean? Human ships are built differently than most alien vessels, you design. Everything to be tough and adaptable. Most alien races build ships that are elegant and specialized. The Dractor probably expect us to fight like other aliens they've faced. Jake was interested. Go on. Our shields can be modified to work in ways that might surprise them. Give me 12 hours, and I can make some changes that could help us survive longer in a fight. Do it, Jake said immediately. Maya nodded and headed back to engineering. Dr. Turner stepped forward. Captain, I've been thinking too. If we're going to help these people, we need to understand them better. Can I go down to the planet and meet with the Colliery leaders? It's dangerous, Alex. The Dractor might shoot down any shuttle that tries to land. I'll take that risk, sir. If these people need medical help, and I want to see what we're fighting for. Jake looked at his doctor. Alex Turner was not a young man, but his eyes were determined. Jake had served with him for 5 years, and he knew that when Alex made up his mind about something, nothing could change it. Take Sam with you. If anyone can get a shuttle past the Dractor sensors, it's him. Sam grinned. I've been wanting to meet these Colliery anyway, Captain. 3 hours later, Dr. Turner and Sam Cooper returned from the planet. Both men looked amazed by what they had seen. Captain, Dr. Turner said, "You have to see this." He activated the main screen and showed recordings from their visit to the underwater cities. Jake and the crew watched in wonder as the images showed vast cities of coral and metal that glowed with soft blue light. Thousands of Colliery swam through the water between buildings that looked like living art. The Colliery themselves were beautiful, creatures that looked like a mix between dolphins and humans. They had smooth gray skin, large dark eyes, and they moved through the water with incredible grace. Their voices created music when they spoke together. They've never fought a war, Dr. Turner said. Not once in their entire history. They solve all their problems by talking and working together. They don't even understand why the Dractor want to hurt them. Sam added, I met with their leaders, Captain. They showed me their water purification technology. It's amazing. It can take poisoned water and make it perfectly clean in minutes. They've been sharing this technology with other races for thousands of years, always for free. Jake felt his anger at the Dractor grow stronger. These gentle people had spent their lives helping others, and now they were going to be murdered for refusing to give their gifts to an evil empire. Did you learn anything else? Yes, sir, Dr. Turner said. Quietly, the Colliery have contacted every species they've ever helped. Now hundreds of different races. They asked for protection, or just for someone to speak on their behalf to the Dractor, and every single one said no. They're all afraid of the Dractor Empire. Some of them sent messages saying they were sorry, but they couldn't risk making the Dractor angry. Lisa looked shocked. They abandoned them completely? Worse than that, Sam said. The races that the Colliery helped for centuries sent messages supporting the Dractor. They said the Colliery brought this on themselves by refusing to cooperate. The bridge became very quiet. Jake felt sick thinking about how alone the Colliery must feel. Suddenly, Sam's communication station began beeping rapidly. Captain incoming. Message from Earth Command. It's Admiral Patricia Hayes, and she doesn't sound happy. Jake sighed. He had been expecting this call. Put her through. The face of Admiral Hayes appeared on the screen. She was an older woman with steel-gray hair and sharp eyes. Jake had known her for many years, and she had always been fair to him. But today she looked angry. "Captain Morrison," she said in a cold voice, "what exactly do you think you're doing?" "Ma'am, we received a distress call from a species that's about to be wiped out. We're trying to help. You were ordered to stay. Out of Galactic Federation business? The Kari situation is not our problem." Jake felt his temper rise. "With respect, Admiral, watching innocent people get murdered seems like everyone's problem. Captain, you are one ship with a crew of 50 people. The Dractor Empire controls hundreds of systems and has thousands of ships. If you interfere, you won't just get yourself killed. You'll give them an excuse to attack Earth, so we should just watch it happen." Admiral Hayes' expression softened slightly. "Jake, I know this is hard, but sometimes we have to make difficult choices. Come home, that's an order." Jake looked. Around at his crew, he saw Dr. Turner, who had just spent hours with people who were going to die. He saw Lisa, who had listened to Scifi's desperate messages. He saw Maya, who was working to give them a fighting chance. He saw Ryan and Sam, who were ready to follow him into battle despite the odds. "I'm sorry, Admiral, but I can't do that." "Admiral." Hayes looked surprised. In 15 years of service, Jake had never disobeyed a direct order. "Captain Morrison, if you don't return immediately, you'll be court-martialed. Your career will be over." "I understand, ma'am. But some things are more important than careers." Admiral Hayes stared at him for a long moment. "You're risking everything. For aliens you met 2 days ago?" "No, ma'am. I'm risking everything because it's the right thing to do." The Admiral shook her head. "You have 24 hours to change your mind, Captain. After that, Earth will officially disavow any knowledge of your actions." The transmission ended, and the bridge was quiet again. Dr. Turner broke the silence. "Captain, are you sure about this?" "Hey." Jake nodded. "Alex, I became a starship captain because I wanted to explore the universe and help people. If I can't help people when they need it most, then what's the point?" Ryan spoke up. "Sir, the crew has been talking, and we all agree with your decision. We knew the risks when we joined the space service." Maya's voice came through the communication system from Engineering, Captain. I've finished the shield modifications. We're as ready as we're going to be. Sam reported from his station, sir. The Dractor have sent an ultimatum to the planet. The Kari have 18 hours to surrender completely, or the bombardment begins. Jake looked at the enemy ships on the screen, 3 massive warships against his single vessel. It should have been hopeless. But Jake thought about Scifi's voice, asking for help when no one else would listen. He thought about the beautiful underwater cities and the gentle people who had never hurt anyone. He thought about all the other species who had turned their backs on their former friends. "Sam, open a channel to the Kari. Channel open, sir." "Scifi. This is Captain Morrison. We're not leaving. Whatever happens, you're not facing this alone." News of the human ship defending Aquanis Prime spread across the galaxy faster than Jake Morrison had expected. Within 6 hours of his message to Scifi, Sam Cooper was receiving hundreds of communications from species all over known space. "Captain," Sam said, looking overwhelmed at his station, "I'm getting messages from everywhere. The Zenthari government is demanding we leave immediately. The Vactani are threatening trade sanctions against Earth. The Galactic Federation has officially condemned our actions." Jake wasn't surprised. The galaxy had made it clear that they wanted the Kari problem to disappear quietly, and humans were making that impossible. "Any friendly messages?" Dr. Turner asked hopefully. Sam scrolled through the communications. "A few, sir. Some individuals are saying they support what we're doing, but no governments are backing us." Lisa Barnes looked up from her science station. With worry in her eyes, "Captain, I'm detecting movement from the Dractor ships. They're changing position." On the main screen, the 3 enemy warships were slowly moving into a new formation. Instead of surrounding the planet, they were now pointing directly at the new horizon. Ryan Clark studied the tactical display. "They're getting ready to attack." "Us first, Captain. They want to remove the only obstacle before they begin the bombardment." Jake had expected this too. "How long do we have?" "Hard to say, sir. Maybe a few hours." They seemed to be waiting for something. The answer came 30. Minutes later, when a new ship dropped out of hyperspace near the Dractor fleet, this vessel was even larger than the warships, painted black with gold markings that showed it belonged to someone very important. Sam received a transmission immediately. "Captain, we're being hailed by the new ship. The signal is very strong. Put it through." The face that appeared on the screen made everyone on the bridge uncomfortable. The speaker was clearly Dractor, with red skin, sharp teeth, and yellow eyes that seemed to burn with anger. Gold decorations on his uniform showed his high rank. "I am War Commander Kreshtak of the Dractor Empire," the alien said in perfect English. "You are the humans who think they can interfere with Imperial business." Jake stood up straighter. "I am Captain Jake Morrison. We're here to protect innocent people from murder." Kreshtak laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "Murder. We are removing a threat to galactic stability. The Kalari refuse to contribute their technology to the greater good of the galaxy." "By greater good, you mean your empire's expansion?" "The same thing, Captain Morrison. Under Dractor rule, there would be no more wars, no more conflicts. Peace through strength and unity." Dr. Turner stepped forward. "Peace through genocide isn't peace at all." Kreshtak's eyes focused on the doctor. "Ah, yes, the soft humans and their emotions. Tell me, Captain, how many humans are willing to die? For these fish people? 50? 100? 1,000? Jake felt cold. "What do you mean?" "Your government has already disowned you. Earth won't come to help you. When I destroy your ship and everyone on it, I will make sure the galaxy knows that this is what happens to those who oppose the Dractor Empire." "Then you'll have to destroy us," Jake said simply. Kreshtak studied Jake's face for a long moment. "You actually mean that? Interesting. Very well, Captain Morrison. You have 1 hour to reconsider. After that, I will show the galaxy what human bravery looks like when it meets Dractor firepower." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in tense silence. Maya Rodriguez's voice came through the communication system from engineering. "Captain, I heard that conversation. Are we really going to fight for ships by ourselves?" Before Jake could answer, Sam looked up with surprise. "Captain, I'm receiving a new transmission. It's not from the Dractor." "Who is it?" "It's coming from a ship I don't recognize. The signal is weak, like they're trying to stay hidden." "Put it through." This time the face on the screen was different. Speaker had blue skin and large silver eyes. Jake recognized the species as Zenthari, one of the founding members of the Galactic Federation. "Human vessel. This is Captain Veltar of the scout ship Starwind. I have been monitoring your situation." Jake was confused. "Captain Veltar, I thought the Zenthari government opposed our actions here." "They do," Veltar said quietly. "But governments do not always speak for individuals. I have served in the Zenthari fleet for 40 years, and I have seen what happens when good people do nothing while innocents die." "What are you saying?" "I am saying that my ship has developed a sudden engine malfunction that requires me to remain in this system for repairs. If the Dractor attack you, my malfunction might become worse, forcing me to defend myself." Jake felt a spark of hope. "Captain Veltar, if you help us, your government will punish you." "Perhaps, but I will be able to sleep at night." Another voice interrupted the conversation. This one spoke with a different accent, rougher and more direct. "This is Commander the Kara of the Vegtani patrol vessel, Iron Fist. My ship has also developed mysterious problems that require immediate attention." Sam worked quickly at his controls. "Captain, I'm detecting 2 more ships approaching our position. They're moving slowly, like they don't want to be noticed. Within the next hour, 5 more ships had joined the small group near Aquanis Prime. Each captain had a different excuse for being there, but they all understood the real reason. They were individuals who refused to watch genocide happen, even if their governments had ordered them to look away." Captain Veltar coordinated with the other ships. "Captain Morrison, we now have 8 vessels ready to defend the Kalari. It's still not enough to match the Dractor fleet, but we have a chance." Jake felt grateful, but also worried. "Captains, you're all risking everything for people you've never met." "So are you," replied Commander the Kara. That's what makes it worth doing. Dr. Turner had been working with the colliery scientists on the planet's surface. He returned to the New Horizon with important information. Captain, I've learned something that might help us. The Callery have been studying Dractor weapons for the past few days. They think they've found a weakness. What kind of weakness? Dractor plasma weapons work by superheating particles in space, but the Calari have developed a way to use their water purification technology to neutralize the plasma before it hits. Our ships? Ryan looked interested. How does that work? They can create fields of purified particles around our ships that absorb the energy from plasma weapons. It won't stop everything, but it might give us a better chance in a fight. Lisa was studying the new data. Captain, if we can adapt our shields to work with this Calari technology, we might be able to survive long enough to do some damage to the Dractor ships. Jake made his decision quickly. Do it.
Yeah, Maya.
Can you modify our systems to work with Calari technology? Maya's voice came back full of excitement. Already working on it, Captain. Give me 2 hours. As the small fleet of rebel ships worked together to prepare for battle, Sam received another message from the planet. Captain, it's Sci-fi. Says the Calari Council wants to speak with you. The main screen showed a group of Calari leaders. Floating in the water of their council chamber, the room was beautiful, with walls made of living coral that glowed with soft light. Sci-fi was in the center, flanked by older Calari with wise faces. Captain Morrison, Sci-fi said, we have watched your people and your new allies prepare to fight for us. We do not understand war, but we understand sacrifice. Why are you willing to die for strangers? Jake thought about the question. Because you're not strangers anymore, Sci-fi. You're people who need help, and that's enough. An older Calari spoke up, Captain. Our people have decided something. If we survive this day, we want to learn from you. We want to understand how beings from different worlds can choose to stand together against evil. And if we don't survive, then the galaxy will know that some refuse to let innocent blood be spilled without a fight. That knowledge will spread, Captain Morrison. Others will remember what you did here. Jake felt the weight of responsibility. On his shoulders, it wasn't just about saving the Calari anymore. It was about showing the galaxy that there was still hope, still people willing to do the right thing when it mattered most. War Commander Krestock's voice cut through the communication channel. Human Captain, your hour is over. I see you have convinced some other fools to join your hopeless cause. Very well. When I destroy all of you, the lesson will be even more clear. Jake looked around at his crew. He saw determination in their faces, not fear. All ships, Jake broadcast to the small fleet. This is Captain Morrison. Whatever happens in the next few hours, we've already won something important. We've shown the galaxy that some people still care about right and wrong. Let's make sure. The Calari survived to tell that story. The Dractor fleet began moving forward, weapons charging. The battle for Aquanis Prime was about to begin. The first shots of the battle came without warning. War Commander Kreshtak's flagship fired a massive plasma beam that lit up space like a red sun. The target was Captain Veltar S. Zenthari's ship, which barely managed to dodge the attack. Ships, evasive maneuvers. Jake Morrison shouted into his communication system. The small fleet of 8 ships scattered in different directions as more plasma beams filled the space around Aquanis Prime. Ryan Clark watched his tactical display with growing concern. Captain, the Dractor are using a standard attack formation. They're trying to surround us and destroy us one by one. Then we don't let them, Jake replied. Maya, are the shield modifications ready? Maya Rodriguez's voice came back from engineering with excitement. Just finished, Captain. The colliery technology is amazing. Our shields should be able to absorb most of the plasma energy now. Let's test it, Jake said. Sam, take us straight at the nearest Dractor ship. Sam Cooper's hands moved quickly over his controls. The New Horizon turned and accelerated directly toward one of the enemy warships. Plasma beams shot out to meet them, but instead of the usual bright explosions, the energy seemed to disappear into shimmering fields around the human ship. It's working, Lisa Barnes called out from her science station. The colliery purification fields are neutralizing the plasma before it can damage our hull. Jake felt hope rising in his chest. All ships, the colliery technology works. Share the shield modifications with everyone. For the next 20 minutes, the small rebel fleet danced through space around the much larger Dractor ships. The enemy vessels were powerful but slow, and their captains had never fought opponents who could neutralize their main weapons. "Captain," Baltar's voice came through the communication channel. "Human captain, this is incredible. My ship just survived." "A direct hit from their largest cannon," Commander the Kara added. "The Dractor don't know how to fight us now. They keep using the same attacks that should destroy us, but we're still here." But Jake knew their advantage wouldn't last forever. The Dractor had other weapons besides plasma cannons, and Krestak was already adapting to the new situation. "All ships, they're switching to kinetic weapons," Ryan warned. "Solid projectiles that the Kalari technology can't stop." Metal slugs the size of cars began flying through space. These weapons didn't use energy that could be neutralized. They relied on simple physics, mass, and speed to tear through ship hulls. The first casualty was a small Arcturus vessel that took 3 projectiles through its engine section. The ship didn't explode, but it stopped moving and began drifting. Helplessly, "This is Captain Morden," came a weak voice. "My ship is disabled, but my crew is alive. Continue the fight without us." Jake watched as one of his allies was removed from the battle. 7 ships against 4 now, but the Dractor vessels were still much more powerful. Dr. Turner had been monitoring communications from the planet. "Captain ShortStories says the Kalari have been working on something else. They think they can help with the kinetic weapons too." "How?" "They found a way to use their water manipulation abilities to create dense clouds of particles in space. If they can position these clouds correctly, they might be able to slow down or deflect the solid projectiles." Lisa looked up from her science station. "Captain, that could work. The Kalari can create particle fields at the right density and position them between us and the enemy ships." "Do it," Jake ordered. "Tell ShortStories to coordinate with our fleet movements." The battle changed again, as invisible clouds of particles began appearing in space around the fighting ships. Dractor kinetic weapons still fired, but many of the projectiles were slowed down or pushed off course by the Kalari. "Particle fields." War Commander Krestak's voice cut through all communication channels. "Enough of these games. All ships target the planet directly. If we cannot destroy these annoying insects, we will complete our original mission." Jake felt ice in his stomach. The 3 Dractor warships turned away from the rebel fleet and pointed their weapons at Aquanis Prime. If they fired on the planet with full power, nothing would survive. "All ships, protect the planet," Jake shouted. "I have to get between them and Aquanis Prime." The 7 remaining rebel ships accelerated toward the Dractor fleet, but Jake knew they wouldn't make it in time. The enemy ships were already charging. Their weapons for planetary bombardment. That's when the impossible happened. Sam looked up from his communication station with shock. "Captain, I'm receiving a transmission from the edge of the system. Multiple ships approaching at high speed." "Dractor reinforcements?" Ryan asked with dread. "No, sir. The signal identifies them as Earth vessels." Jake stared at the main screen. As 12 human ships dropped out of hyperspace, he recognized the lead vessel immediately. It was the heavy cruiser Constitution, Admiral Hayes' flagship. Admiral Hayes' face appeared on the communication screen. Her expression was serious, but not angry. "Captain Morrison, this is Admiral Hayes. I'm here to inform you that Earth Command has experienced a series of unfortunate navigation errors. 12 of our ships somehow ended up in the wrong star system." Jake understood immediately. "Navigation errors, Admiral? That's correct, Captain. It's very embarrassing. We'll need some time to recalculate our position and return to Earth space. During this time, if we encounter any threats to peaceful vessels in the system, we'll be forced to defend ourselves." Relief flooded through Jake. Earth had found a way to help without officially breaking their treaties with the Galactic Federation. The arrival of human reinforcements changed everything. The Dractor now faced 19 ships instead of 7, and many of the new arrivals were heavily armed military vessels. War Commander Krestak's flagship fired desperately at the Constitution, but Admiral Hayes' ship was protected by the same Kari technology that had saved the rebel fleet. The plasma beams that should have destroyed the cruiser were absorbed harmlessly. All human vessels, Admiral Hayes broadcast, you will coordinate with Captain Morrison. He is the ranking officer in this engagement. Jake felt the weight of command as he realized he was now leading the largest human fleet action in decades. All ships, formation Delta. We're going to surround the Dractor fleet and force them to surrender. The human ships moved with precision that impressed their alien allies. Years of training and coordination allowed them to execute complex maneuvers that the rebel captains could only watch with admiration. Dr. Turner had been working with the Kari throughout the battle. Captain, I have news from the planet. The Kari scientists have made a breakthrough. I think they can overload the Dractor ship's power systems using their purification technology. How they can reverse the process they've been using to protect us. Instead of absorbing energy, they can flood the Dractor ships with too much energy for their systems to handle. Lisa studied the new data. Captain, it could work. If we can get close enough to the enemy ships, the Kari could force an overload that would disable them without destroying them. Jake made the decision quickly. Do it. I want those ships disabled, not destroyed. The crews don't deserve to die for following orders. The final phase of the battle was unlike anything anyone had ever seen. Kari technology reached out from the planet to touch the Dractor ships with invisible forces. One by one, the enemy vessels began shutting down as their power systems overloaded. War Commander Kreshtak's flagship was the last to be disabled. As the lights went out on his ship, his voice came through the communication channels one final time. This is impossible, he said with disbelief. A few small ships and some fish people have defeated the Dractor Empire. Admiral Hayes responded. Calmly, Commander. You weren't defeated by technology or superior numbers. You were defeated by people who refused to let innocent beings die while they did nothing. As the Dractor ships drifted powerlessly in space, Jake looked around at his crew. They had done something that should have been impossible. A single exploration ship had stood against an empire and won. But Jake knew the real victory wasn't the battle. It was the fact that when it mattered most, people from many different worlds had chosen to stand together against evil. Sam, open a channel to Sci-fi. Channel open, Captain. Sci-fi. This is Captain Morrison. The Dractor fleet has been disabled. Your people are safe. The young Kari's voice was filled with emotion when he replied. Captain Morrison, how? Can we ever thank you? Jake smiled. You don't need to thank us, Sci-fi. Just remember that you're not alone in this galaxy. There are still people who care about doing the right thing. 3 hours after the battle ended, War Commander Kreshtak stood in the conference room of the New Horizon. His hands were secured, but Jake Morrison had ordered that he be treated with respect. The Dractor commander looked angry and confused. I do not understand you humans, Kreshtak said. You defeated my fleet, but you did not destroy my ships. You captured my crews, but you give them food and medical care. This is not how war works. Jake sat across from the alien commander. Maybe that's why wars don't solve anything, Commander. We're not your enemies. We just couldn't let you murder innocent people. Dr. Alex Turner entered the room with a medical report. Captain, I've finished examining the Dractor crews. They're all healthy, just confused about why we're helping them. Kreshtak looked at the doctor with suspicion. You are healing warriors who tried to kill you. We're healing people who need help, Dr. Turner replied simply. That's what doctors do. Admiral Patricia Hayes joined the meeting. She had been coordinating with Earth Command about what to do with the captured Dractor ships and crews. Captain Morrison, she said, Earth has made a decision about this situation. We're going to return the Dractor crews to their empire, but we're keeping their ships until they agree to leave the Kari alone permanently. Kreshtak's eyes widened. You would bargain with the Dractor Empire? We would prefer to talk rather than fight, Jake said. Violence should always be the last choice, not the first. Sam Cooper looked up from his communication station. Captain, I'm receiving a priority message from the Galactic Federation. It's being broadcast to every ship in the system. Put it through. The face that appeared on the screen belonged to High Counselor Zarthik, the leader of the Galactic Federation. The alien looked uncomfortable and spoke in a formal tone. To all vessels in the Aquanis system, The Galactic Federation wishes to clarify its position on recent events. After careful review, we have determined that the Dractor Empire's actions against the Kari people violated several interstellar laws. Jake and Admiral Hayes exchanged glances. The Federation was trying to save face now that the humans had proven the Dractor could be defeated. Furthermore, the High Counselor continued, the Federation recognizes the right of all species to defend innocent life when faced with genocide. The actions of the human fleet and their allies were justified under these circumstances. Lisa Barnes smiled. They're changing their story now that we won. The High Counselor wasn't finished. The Galactic Federation hereby offers full membership to humanity with all the rights and responsibilities that come with such status. Admiral Hayes muted the transmission and turned to Jake. That's a significant offer, Captain. Full membership would give Earth access to advanced technology and trade agreements. What do you think, Admiral? I think we should be very careful about joining an organization that was willing to watch genocide happen because it was convenient. Jake nodded. My thoughts exactly. Turned back to the communication screen. High Counselor, we appreciate the offer, but Earth needs time to consider membership in the Federation. We want to understand your values better before we make any commitments. The High Counselor looked surprised. Most species would accept Federation membership immediately. Very well, he said stiffly. The offer will remain open. 2 days later, Jake stood on the observation deck of the New Horizon, watching as construction ships worked around Aquanis Prime. The Kari had invited species from across the galaxy to help them rebuild, and the response had been overwhelming. Ships from dozens of different worlds had arrived, not to conquer or take advantage, but to help. The story of the human fleet's stand against the Dractor had spread through the galaxy. Inspiring others to act with courage, Scifi swam up to the underwater viewing window that connected to the ship. The young Kari had become the official ambassador between his people and the growing coalition of species that wanted to help. Captain Morrison, Scifi said through the communication system, I have news from our council. We have made a decision about our future.
What kind of
decision? We want to create something new. Not just rebuild our world, but build a place where species can come together to help each other. We want to call it the Guardian Alliance. Jake was interested. Tell me more. Any species that believes in protecting innocent life would be welcome. We would share technology, but only for peaceful purposes. We would help each other explore new worlds and solve problems together. Dr. Turner joined Jake at the observation window. That sounds like something Earth might want to be part of. Maya Rodriguez's voice came through the ship's communication. System Captain, you need to see this. Getting reports from all over the galaxy. Jake and Dr. Turner went to the bridge, where Maya was displaying news reports from dozens of different worlds. What are we looking at? Jake asked. Stories, Captain. Stories about what happened here. They're calling it the Battle of Aquanis Prime, and it's inspiring people everywhere. The reports showed protests on Xanthari worlds, demanding their government help other threatened species. Vakani citizens were organizing relief efforts for refugees from Dractor attacks, even on worlds that had never heard of humans before. People were talking about the importance of standing up for what's right. Sam looked up from his station with excitement. Captain, I'm receiving messages from ship captains all over the galaxy. They're asking how they can join the Guardian Alliance. Lisa was studying the incoming data. Sir, we're getting applications from scientists, doctors, engineers, and explorers. They want to be part of something that puts helping people first. Admiral Hayes contacted the ship with an update from Earth. Captain Morrison, I have news from home. The Earth Council has voted unanimously to join the Guardian Alliance as a founding member. They were very impressed with your actions here. Felt proud but also humbled. What about the Federation's offer? We politely declined. Earth has decided we'd rather build something new than join something that failed when it was needed most. 6 months later, Jake stood in the capital city of New Aquanis, the first Guardian Alliance headquarters built in human space. The city was a marvel of cooperation, with buildings designed by a dozen different species working together. The Guardian Alliance had grown faster than anyone expected. 43 different species had joined, bringing together the best scientists, doctors, and explorers from across the galaxy. They had established colonies for refugees, developed new technologies for peaceful exploration, and created the first truly democratic galactic government. Dr. Turner ran the Alliance Medical Division, coordinating disaster relief efforts across multiple star systems. Maya Rodriguez led the engineering corps, teaching species how to build ships and cities that could adapt to any environment. Lisa Barnes directed the scientific research programs that were making breakthrough discoveries every month. But the most important change was harder to measure. The galaxy had remembered that ordinary people could do extraordinary things when they chose courage over fear. Sci-fi swam up to Jake in the city's central plaza, where a memorial honored all the species that had chosen to stand together at Aquanis Prime. Captain Morrison, the young Kari, said, "Do you ever regret your choice to help us?" Jake looked around at the bustling city, where beings from dozens of worlds worked side by side to build a better future. "Never," he said. Is what we were meant to do. Explore the universe, meet new people, and help each other when we can. The Dractor Empire still exists, Sci-fi pointed out. They still threaten other worlds. Yes, but they're not unopposed anymore. Every time they attack someone, they know there are people willing to fight back. That changes everything. Year after the Battle of Aquanis' Prime, Jake received a message that made him smile. It came from a young captain in the Dractor fleet who had been inspired by the stories of Guardian Alliance courage. "Captain Morrison," the message said, "my name is Kethver. I was present during your defense of the Kari. I have decided to leave the Dractor military and join your alliance. I want to help protect people instead of conquering them." Jake showed the message to his crew, who were now the command staff of the Guardian Alliance fleet. Sir Sam said, "We're getting more messages like this every week. People from the Dractor Empire are defecting to join us. Even some Dractor leaders are starting to question their empire's methods," Ryan added. "Ow. Our intelligence reports suggest there might be a civil war coming." Jake nodded. Change was spreading through the galaxy, by one simple decision to help people who needed it. That evening, Jake stood on his balcony in New Aquanis, watching the stars. Somewhere out there, other species were facing impossible choices. Some would choose fear and turn away from those who needed help. But others would remember the story of a small human ship that refused to abandon the innocent. Admiral Hayes contacted him with the daily report. "Captain, we received 43 new applications for Alliance membership today. 2 more species want to establish refugee colonies. And the Kari water purification technology has solved the water shortage crisis on 17 worlds." "Good news all around," Jake replied. "There's more. Earth has approved funding for 50 new Guardian Alliance ships. We're going to be able to help a lot more people."